Gourmet number 16. You're mine, puffer whale.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Hungry Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the epic, appetite-inducing tale of Toriko. This here will mark the final chapter in Volume 2, and I know that just doing these reviews Monday through Friday is probably a little slow going for some, especially those that are caught up to the series. However, it's perfect for me because I do obviously have other obligations outside of the other reviews that I do and everything else. So certainly appreciate everyone's patience and their support as well in this. So this was a very cool chapter because the last chapter left us off where at the end of it, Coco was going to go after one of the puffer whales. We saw that even going slowly and quietly after one like Toriko did, it poisoned itself immediately when it felt that danger, sensed that danger. And this chapter is very cool because at the end of last chapter, Coco became invisible virtually by erasing his presence, so to speak, so he could get in close to capture one of these puffer whales. That is where the chapter left off, and that's right where this one picks up. It's actually very, very cool because you see Toriko going and saying, man, that's so neat how I thought he disappeared for a minute, but, then realized that he just kind of erased his aura, his presence, obviously to be able to come up and actually capture one of these puffer whales without it being alerted to his presence, and then of course exploding the poison sac within it. So, and remember, these things are located in different spots as well, so it's never no two are the same. So this is certainly a challenge among challenges, if you will. So it is funny though, because at the beginning Toriko's like, Komatsu, come on, take a look at this, as he's kind of talking or mentally whatever he does underwater communicating, and then he's like, they show Komatsu and he's like, oh, you had to go up and get air already. These two behemoths are down there. They can hold their breath for hours, it seems like. So then we wind up getting in it, and it takes us to the next page, and we see that Coco is he goes and pulls out a it looks and it appears as if it's a knocking gun. Is that what it is? Oh, okay, yeah, just go ahead and tell him.
Oh, all right, that's me. Knocking gun, delicate model. A stun gun used for delicate prey who are so sensitive to stimulus that stress may spoil their meat. To accurately strike the desired pressure point with its thin, flexible needle, a high degree of skill is needed. The needle promptly biodegrades within the living tissues, so its paralyzing effects don't last long. Retail price 276,000 yen.
Oh, that's my cue. Okay, all right. I guess I'm back. So hopefully that kind of cleared it up with the whole delicacy knocking gun or what have you. He's much better at that type of stuff anyway. Sounds like a narrator reading from a book or something like that. So I'm just a humble servant that sort of just spits out whatever comes to mind. So Coco goes and approaches one of these puffer whales, and being virtually invisible to it. It is kind of neat because it also explains about how when you're able to erase your presence and your aura, naturally when you're going to go after someone or something to harm it, and your attention's focused on it, it's almost like a feeling. You can feel their presence, that's something. So they're showing, like on the Serengeti, for instance, like a lion that's just killed some prey and is sitting there full. A bunch of herbivores can go and walk by it just by not really paying attention to it, and it's focused on something else. You know what I mean? It's not focused on them. It's full, and their presence isn't threatening to it at all either way, so they can wind up getting away with it. And it's really neat how it shows it. It even shows like for birds and stuff like that, how they'll just go and walk in front of somebody who's like deep in thought, reading a paper, texting, what have you. If you think about it, many times when you're not paying attention, and then all of a sudden you look over and like, what the hell is that bird doing there? That's happened to me so many times when I'm outside grilling. I'm just sitting there, standing there in deep thought, thinking about something else. And all of a sudden I see there's like a squirrel like chilling on a branch 3 feet from me. And I'm like, what the fuck? But as soon as you go and show that obviously your attention's back on it, it's almost like you send out these these vibes, this energy that it can then sense, and then the animal runs away. So it is really cool to show and how they describe all of that, and it's definitely something that I enjoy. So Coco manages to go and insert this delicate knocking gun or whatever at a 45-degree angle, and they show the side view up through the gills and in to knock this thing out, and he captures one of the puffer whales. So then Toriko is like, just by watching him do this, Toriko's like, you know what? I'd like to give that a try too. So Toriko goes, and just by watching, it appears that one of the skills that he has is he can just pick up on things and improve himself very quickly, I might add, just by observing another doing that. So he watches Coco and what he does, and then he does that himself. Coco even turns around. He's like, "Where the hell is Toriko?" And then he's like, they kind of just show me, looks like he's like blended into the water, and he's like, "Oh my God, there he is." He goes, he completely erased his feral aura, right? That sort of, that bestial aura that he has. Um, and he went, and then Coco goes and he goes to hand him the knocking gun. He says, "No, I don't need it." So he's going to go after, and through a couple pages of really cool build up and everything like that, it shows that he's going to go and do, with his fork and knife, he's going to use his finger as like a one prong from the knife. And if he figures if he can get up close enough to it and he can hit it at the same angle that he can go through the gills and then just basically hit that spot and boom, just kill the damn thing, right? So he goes up and again, through a 2 or 3 page kind of drawn out thing, he is able to come up. He gets very close to one. The thing doesn't feel its presence. They explained everything about how it uses sonar and all other stuff, but it obviously didn't pick up on Toriko at all. So he goes and angles up into the thing, and it looks like, and boom, the thing's knocked out. He's like, "Oh, cool, I did it." And then all of a sudden, poof, the thing just gets all dark and poison. And he's like, "What the hell?" He goes, and the whole time Coco's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." Like Toriko is like learning this skill in just a matter of minutes just by watching me do it. That is amazing. He's definitely upping his game, and he's always learning and trying to become better at being a gourmet hunter. So it's very cool as far as how they explain that. But then Toriko goes and he's like, "Oh man, I must have got the angle wrong, or maybe my technique was off." And Coco goes, "No, your technique was flawless, bro. Okay, all it was is you must have just got unlucky, and the poison sac in this particular puffer whale must have been closer to the gills. So you must have nicked it or whatever on the way in. You couldn't have foreseen that." So then they're like, "Okay, let's capture some more puffer whales, and then they got to go up and get some air first." And it says too that normally these two just titans can hold their breath for, I guess like hours if they want to, but after just 5 minutes, because of all the concentration they had to use, to capture one puffer whale, they had to go back up for more air. So it shows the mental toll it takes on them too. So then it goes and it kind of shows us like the 1 hour later, and Komatsu's sitting there, and it says already tired of swimming, and he's just sort of sitting there at the edge of the lagoon. And Toriko and Coco come up, and they're like, "Hey, we got a bunch of them, and they're like, "How many?" And and Coco's like, "We got 10 of them, And Toriko goes, and he's like, "Yeah, I would have thought we could have done better for for 2 of the 4 kings, but." And then Coco's like, "Hey, this is like a fortune's worth." Then they go and they explain that these bad boys go for when they're captured like this without their poison sac removed, 100 million yen, okay, which I believe translates into roughly around $1 million. If not, maybe it's 100,000. But either way, ton of money. And then it triples when you can actually remove the poison sac. So it's kind of cool how they show how it is, but obviously if you don't, if you burst the poison sac, it's worth nothing. It's still worth about 8 million yen, I guess, on the black market. But then Toriko goes and he says it's not about the money, and it's not for him. It's about it's about the capture. It's about the kill as far as being able to try this new delicacy, So for him, it has nothing to do with the money. But Komatsu goes to Coco because Coco's going to be the one to try to extract these, And he's like, so basically it's like having 10 scratch and win lottery tickets worth 300 million each. And he's like, "Yeah, but one errant scratch and it's worth nothing, So I really like how they kind of made it akin to having a lotto ticket. So Coco goes and he says that, because Toriko asks him, he says, "What do you foresee in this net? Are your chances?" And he goes, "I'm about 10%. And he goes, "What? Only one?" And he says, "And I might not even, don't get mad at me, I might not even get any." And Toriko's like, "No, I won't be mad at you." And he's got this funny looking face on, and then it says, "Yeah, because I'll never let you live it down." So Coco is going to go and he's going to, go in and start trying to, go through the extraction process of being able to locate this poison sac and being able to extract it without it bursting. So obviously these things will be edible and what have you. So, and then the chapter ends up shortly after that in the volume, and it's really kind of cool because if you remember, Knocking Master Jiro, when we had that sort of flashback from when he saved Komatsu, he said, "Get your stuff and get out of here," because he like sensed some danger, some presence that was coming. And we wind up, if you remember, Cavern Lagoon actually goes, and although there's caverns to go down 800 meters to get to it, there's actually, it's actually like an inlet from the ocean. And so you could have swam down from the ocean, I guess, as well. But they go and they show that kind of side view picture, and they say someone or something is 800 meters below the surface is starting to make its way towards Cavern Lagoon. And you just sort of see this outline of a figure. I don't know who or what it is that is going up towards there. So, and that's how things are left off. And it's just kind of like a boom, to be continued in the next volume. So definitely a cool way to leave things off. And I guess, my question, my chapter question for this one is going to be, and a couple of you have commented already, so this one doesn't have specifically, I guess, to do with Toriko, but do you like when I utilize to do some of the explanations as far as things? Do you like when I utilize the narrator, so to speak, to go and explain a little bit more about things? Because to me, when they show this thing on the page, it's because they're trying to give you an explanation, and the author is trying to give the reader an explanation for a reason. It's because he wants you to see that, he wants you to soak that, and he wants you to understand that this is how this particular item or thing or what have you works within this world. So if you'd like me to continue doing those sort of things, please leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it. Go make yourself a sandwich after, of course, you hit the like button, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Why don't you just hit that subscribe button there, Sonny? Just go ahead and do it. Feels good.